Hello and welcome to Common Sense Education Social and Emotional Learning in Digital Life resource session. My name is Jennifer Ehalt. I'm Senior Manager on the education team, and with me, joining me today is Sue Thoughts, my colleague. Hi, Sue, welcome.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for having us.
And so for today's session goals, this short and sweet, session is going to highlight short CASEL-aligned student activities, and we'll get into what CASEL is in a minute. We're going to also share some family conversation starters so students can bring home what they're learning at school. And then we're also going to share some professional development resources to bring that SEL learning in digital life into your own practices. Sound good?
All right, here we go.
All right. So we're going to kick things off and get us all on the same page in terms of what is social emotional learning in digital life spaces. So we want to make sure we understand that it's actually referring to the skills and dispositions that students develop to navigate those unique dilemmas that technology brings to their lives, from learning to regulate emotions when using these devices to leveraging social media for nurturing healthy relationships. And that's the key here, right? Healthy relationships online. And so for those of you who are not familiar with CASEL and their framework, CASEL stands for Collaborative for Academic, Social, and Emotional Learning. And they're the thought leaders when it comes to all this social emotional wellness for all ages. And you can see here they have a framework that we have used and tied it to our digital life lessons. So the competencies you see here are also introduced on this next page. I'm going to turn it over to Sue, and she's going to tell us about how this connection works.
All right. So, a lot of times, many of you are being asked to teach social and emotional learning skills in your classes, and they're centered on these competencies that you see across the top. And what we have here is we have tied them to the ways in which we and our students use them when using our devices, right? So how do we, for example, that first one there under self-awareness is understanding online cues. When I'm trying to read Jennifer's cues when we are together in real life, I can look at her body language, I can look at her face, I can understand some of the cues that she is projecting. And I can understand the cues that I am giving off as a person, trying to have a conversation with her. When we are online, things are very different. And we need to understand the ways in which our cues and our communication is related to, the people who are around us. And so, in this type of example, we are trying to help students understand how different that is in an online life versus, when we are together in real life. And so, that's just one example. Another one might be under those relationship skills. I see de-escalating digital drama. Right. And so with that, we know that our students need those skills of being able to not, cause online arguments and incivility. How can we teach them those skills and dispositions that relate to de-escalation of tense situations? So those are just a couple of examples in which we're thinking about social and emotional skills as they relate to the online space.
Awesome. I love how you brought that to life. So it's not just words on a screen, it's actual actions, right? That we're all grappling with.
Exactly.
And so what we want to do is take you out to our activities. We call them quick activities, but really these are the activities in social and emotional life. And so what we thought we would do here is focus on the middle school. You can see here there's some K-5 activities, and there's also some 9th through 12th grade high school activities, but let's meet in the middle. Let's go to middle school. And so you can see here our landing page is very intuitive. It has everything you need in one spot. And so let's go out.
You click on the grade band that's for you. So Jennifer just clicked on middle school as a starting point here. And we're going to start by looking at a lesson about oversharing and your digital footprint. So if I have a 6th grade class, I'm going to pull up this lesson plan. So this is what I would use as a teacher. And, it has your learning objectives right there in the front. All of the resources you need are hyperlinked. So those green, the thing that says video and student handout, those are hyperlinks out to the resources that are right there and available for you. And it gives you the step-by-step activities that you'll be doing in your classroom when you're teaching this lesson. That only takes about 15 minutes. And so we begin by doing a warm-up question about asking our students, how would you describe experiences with social media, either for yourself or for people you know? Are they I think great. Maybe you just do like a thumbs up, thumbs down, in the middle activity, right? Just do a quick activity there, and then you're going to be talking about, the question, and then you're going to be, asking students about their experiences and showing them a video. So there's a student handout available, and there is a video that's about 3 minutes long that you would show your students and then host a discussion on. So let's take a quick look at that video and let's see what that feels like.
The idea of, posting and having a lot of people see it can definitely be kind of scary.
If you're a teenager, you're gonna make bad decisions sometimes.
They can screenshot it, they can do so many things to save that, and they can edit it in ways that you won't want them to.
Whether or not you think it'll go away, it's there. Anything you post online, you're stuck with.
Oversharing to me is putting too much of your personal life in front of a wide audience of people.
So really good insight from their peers, right?
Right.
Like peer-to-peer insight is so valuable in your classroom. And so that just gives you a highlight into the video.
And I think these videos are also meant to jumpstart a conversation, right? It's so that students in your classroom don't necessarily have to share their own experiences first, right? It's to warm them up and to hear from other students and then react against what's in this video. And so by reacting against what's in this video and by sharing their own thoughts and ideas via the student handout and then that discussion, you can keep this lesson nice and tight. And you as a teacher have this teacher's guide. And so you can ask, what are some of the benefits of sharing on social media? And ask your students what those, it's not all doom and gloom. What are some of the drawbacks? And what was one of the perspectives shared in the video that you agreed with, right? So just quick and easy and simple, and you have some ideas there as a teacher of what you might be able to expect.
Which I love. So it kind of grounds you as the educator with, making sure you know what you're looking for in your student conversation. And then we have one more piece to these lessons, and that's engaging your families with the learning. And so sending home family conversation starters. Here's an example of one that goes with the lesson we just went over. So self-awareness in digital life, how to talk to your child and the avoiding the negative effects of oversharing. And so one of the questions here that I think could spark a good conversation with your child is, oversharing, we're talking about it all the time, right? Especially, in school, you see it. So have you seen your own friends, that share personal feelings or other things on social media that they've regretted later? How does it make you feel to see that, like to see something so personal about your friend and like, oh, sometimes you could almost cringe, like, why did they put that out there?
And then the question is, why do you think people overshare, right?
Yeah,
so that would be a great conversation.
And that ties in your values then, right? Helping families tie in the values of how we represent yourself and our family online. So these are really great. There's one for every one of the competencies. So good ways to share out on family portals, right? These can be easily linked out to anything or in any way and platform that you share with your families, right? And so where does all this fit? So we hopefully got you excited about how nice and easy these can be. 15 minutes, everything you need, turnkey. Now, where do we put it? So here are some ways that we see educators, giving us feedback on, wow, it works really well with the following.
Right. So we have, a lot of, elementary especially are using it during their morning meetings. I'm working with our local high school on their PBIS team to think about how we integrate this school-wide, right? How are we making sure that this goes across to all classrooms and reaches all students? And then we also have a lot of school counselors who are teaching a lot of this content, with both their tier 1 and their tier 2 interventions. And then when the mental health SEL experiences are trying, what the folks are trying to make sure their students have these ideas and concepts and skills, they are trying to really bring in a lot of this digital aspect into those types of lesson plans as well. And of course, advisory period is always a great place for this type of relationship building and skill building to happen in your classroom.
Yeah, so always looking for ways. Share with us if you have other things we'd love to hear. And then also on the landing page, that lovely, beautiful laid out landing page, we also have a teacher's essential guide that you'll find. And this is really kind of equipping you with what you need as foundation content and just some background on social and emotional learning and how it ties into your classroom curriculum. So questions like the standards, are there standards, and how does this tie to digital citizenship? If you're already embedding some of the Digital Cit content, how does it tie to SEL? So that's kind of nice to read through. And then equity oriented, making sure that you're addressing some of those types of things too in your classroom.
Absolutely.
So do you want to add anything? Okay.
All of this content is available at the commonsense.org/education/SEL landing page there for the SEL and digital life. The Teacher's Essential Guide, the lessons, the parent resources, and more are all available there.
So after kind of going through the competencies and seeing a quick video, was there anything that you want to focus on first with your students? We kind of want to leave you with a call to action. Which one would you pick? Which one would you try? Which one resonated with you, or which one do you think would be most impactful for your students to experience? So we'll leave you with that question. We hope you enjoyed today's session. Thank you for your time, and have fun.
Thanks.
Have fun with this.
Thanks so much for joining us.